Hey, I'm going to walk you through how to file your BOI report online. Before we get started, I want to quickly look at the FinCEN's FAQ page because it does contain a lot of very helpful information. You can always access this by Googling FinCEN BOI FAQs or going to this website right here. So some of the confusing parts of the report are who is a beneficial owner, which is all right here, and then updated report. So this one right here, what are some likely triggers for needing to update the report, and then what should I do if previously reported information changes, okay? Now we're gonna get into the filing process. You'll come to a page like this. You can access this by just Googling File BOI Report online. We're gonna select this option right here. And then we're going to select this and prepare and submit BOIR online. If for some reason you wanted to prepare a PDF and then upload the completed PDF, you could, but we're just going to do this option here, okay? Once you click on that, you'll click agree and it takes you to the report. I already have a version completed, ready to go that we're going to walk through. So, filing information. First question, what type of filing is this? Initial report is going to be the most common one. This will be the first ever filing report. So either you already had a business that you formed years ago or prior to when this went into effect, or you formed a new business and you need to do the initial report for it. The date prepared automatically populates. You can't change it. If for some reason you already filed a report and you need to correct it, there was an error in it, you'll select that option. If you need to update a prior report, which was part of that FAQ that we just looked at, you would select this option. So if someone's address changed, if there was a change in owners, if the business address changed, if any piece of information changed that was in the initial filing, you would select that option. And then newly exempt entity, I'm not going to select that, but this would be if you've already filed a report and then for some reason that entity is now exempt from filing reports going forward. But we're going to just go with initial report, and we're going to go ahead and click next. So now we're going to fill in the information about the company, okay? So about the LLC or the corporation. If you want to receive a FinCEN ID upon submission of the report, you can check this box. You don't need to have one. It's not mandatory. It could make things easier. We're not going to get into what a FinCEN ID is or whether or not you need one or should have one, because that's outside the purpose of this video, and it's not required, okay? So you'll fill in the company's legal name. If the business uses a DBA or has a separate trade name, you'll need to fill that in there. You can add other alternate names as well. Down here, you're going to select the business's EIN. If for some reason the business doesn't have an EIN, which is very rare, like most LLCs and corporations do have an EIN, even if it's not required for a single member LLC to have an EIN, but I've never come across a single member LLC that doesn't have an EIN. So if you're not selecting EIN for this option, you should really stop and ask yourself, like, is this correct? You're not putting your social security number unless for some reason you really don't have an EIN, which would be super rare, okay? Then you're gonna fill in the EIN number or for some reason your social or something else. You'll come down here and you're gonna fill in the information that relates to when you first formed that business, okay? So you'll select the country of formation, the state of formation. So let's say you formed your LLC in Delaware for some reason, but you also have a foreign qualification in New York. You would put Delaware here, not New York. Or let's say you formed it in New York originally, but then you moved to California and now your LLC is registered in both New York and California. You would still only select New York. Here, I just selected Alabama because it's the first one on the list. Down here, you're gonna put in the business's current US address. Okay, this is one of those pieces of information that could change, that could trigger needing to file an updated report. Also, sometimes businesses do get new EIN, so this could also trigger it. LLC and corporate names can change, so that could trigger it too. And getting a new DBA could also trigger it. So there's a lot of pieces of information on this first tab that could trigger needing to file a new report. And the reason why I bring this up is because while it is very important to make sure that this first initial report is filed, what's even more important is making sure that you're putting processes and procedures in place to trigger knowing when you need to come file that updated report within 30 days of any change, or else you're going to get the same hefty penalties from not filing. Okay, so once we did that, we're going to click next. So what's a company applicant? Company applicant, you would think, is who's filling this out, right? Not. Like anything that seems logical, just do the opposite, all right? So it's not that. I do want to say that if your business was already in existence prior to January 1st, 2024, you don't need to fill any of this out. So you'll just check this box and it prevents you from being able to type in any of these fields. So what is a company applicant? A company applicant is the person who applied to form the company. And they don't want to know that or need to know that if the business was already in existence. It's just for businesses that were formed, now onward. So if you make a new business in 2024 or in a future year, then they will want to know who applied for that LLC in the first place. If you went on the Secretary of State's website and did your own LLC or corporation setup, which a lot of people do, then you would be company applicant number one. You can have up to 2 company applicants. If you hired another person or another service to form that LLC for you or that corporation for you, then they would be company applicant number 1 and you would be company applicant number 2 because you directed them to do it. So I do also think that, again, this just went into effect today, so who knows how it's all going to shake out. But I think, as part of let's say you hired someone to do your LLC formation, I would assume that part of that LLC formation would be them also completing this form, and then they would be able to fill in their information as the company applicant. But just so you're aware of what this is and that you don't need to complete it if your business was already in existence prior to January 1st, 2024, okay? Now we're on to the fun part, beneficial owners. So I'm not going to get into who is and who is not a beneficial owner. All of that information is on FinCEN's website. It can get a little murky, so I don't want to, get in trouble or anything. But I will say, for most people watching this, it's probably just you or you and a couple of people. So I do think that the beneficial owner would be a little bit more straightforward. So if you own 100% of your business, you're a beneficial owner. I can't say whether or not you have other beneficial owners. You will need to check. Not necessarily with your accountant. This is not something that falls under tax law or accounting. You would want to check with your attorney. So the person who set up your LLC or your business attorney to see, if maybe you have other beneficial owners. But for most people watching this, I'm pretty sure, you would be the only beneficial owner, I would have to assume. And, or maybe it's like you and someone else that you each own 50-50, okay? So if for some reason the beneficial owner is a minor, you would check this box. If the beneficial owner has a FinCEN ID, you would fill that out there. If it doesn't, then you're going to go ahead and complete the information. So you're going to put last name, first name, date of birth, the beneficial owner's residential address. You're going to complete this information down here. So you have to select one of these identifying documents and then fill in the identifying document number, where it was issued, and then upload an image of it. So what on this page could trigger needing to file a new report? If the beneficial owners change, if you bring in a new member, if someone leaves, if any of the beneficial owners get a new FinCEN ID for some reason, if the beneficial owner's name changes, if the beneficial owner's residential address changes, if the beneficial owner gets a new driver's license, passport, or any of these other pieces of information, or if the identifying number on those things change, you would need to file an updated report, okay? And then once you complete that, so you can have an unlimited number of beneficial owners here. Company applicants limited to 2, beneficial owners unlimited. You'll go ahead and submit next, then you'll go ahead and click next, you'll get to the submit page, you'll put in your email, first name, last name, you'll check the box, let them know you're a human, and then it's going to give you a confirmation page. Make sure you PDF that confirmation page, and it's going to give you a transcript you can download. Make sure you download that transcript as well, and then you're done. So filing the initial report isn't that complicated, as you can tell. The information that it asks for is generally pretty straightforward, especially if you have a small, closely held business. I do think the area that most people are going to get tripped up with and possibly incur penalties is making sure that the updates are made. But, just make sure that whenever you move, whenever your address changes, like literally the first thing you should do is navigate to this report, make that change, then, go on the post office website and change your address and all of those things. This should be the most important thing you do. So, any questions, drop them below. I hope this was helpful.